We'll be back from that particular break, and it's time for us to continue making sure that we drive your business. And it is high time we take a look at what we have from the business courts, trying to inspire most of the Ugandans here.
Very well. And if you want to get inspired on this particular Monday beginning the week, look out for it on our court today.
And let's take a look at what we do have. Whew. I think Rita will
I want little girls to grow up knowing they can do anything, even play football. So the quote here is not just inspiration to girls. The girl here being used, or the girl word, is just an example. But okay, maybe I can add a little boy. I want a little boy or little girls to grow up knowing they can do anything, even play football. That quote is coming in from Jean Walter there, highlighting for us on how you can do anything regardless of your size, number one, regardless of your culture, regardless of where you're born from, where you come from, regardless whether you're a female, any gender you fall in, you can do anything. This also is being highlighted more so on girls. Why? Because they're proven to be a bit more vulnerable with the society. Even when you know you're not vulnerable. John, I don't feel vulnerable, but the society will put it on me like she's vulnerable. I don't know if you understand that.
At the end of the day, women feel it's better for them to be considered that way in some areas. No, I said in some scenarios. For example, some situations.
Which one?
And when it comes to business matters, women want this. You're not supposed to consider them vulnerable because they believe they have what it takes to also compete. And they're actually competing. Now,
I mean, we've got everything. Everything. Okay, Durham, can you tell me?
Now the funny part comes.
Okay, like, I've got hands like you do.
Exactly.
What else don't I have like you do that tries to defend you that much? You feel
now,
like, you know
when
what?
it comes to some duties, women feel vulnerable.
Duties, like building duties. Building, and construction. I know what you're talking about. You're speaking about construction, right? You're speaking about plumbing. You're speaking about climbing an electric pole. I've seen ladies do that. What else are you going? What else are you going to say that a woman has
sometimes
not
women
tried?
feel vulnerable when it comes to making sure they pay some utilities or any bills at home. Women tend to feel tend to feel vulnerable. I'm the woman in the house.
No, I still do not. Okay, at some point, you know that comes with a reason. That comes with a reason. Do you know the reason? I mean, I could be, you know, having a lot of budgeting that I'm handling, and then I have paid bills before. You know that. That woman you're talking about has paid those bills before, has cleared the water bill before, has
so she
paid
wants
for
that
electricity
burden to first
before.
get released of her.
You feel like I don't have to do this constantly. So even me, I mean, it happens to me. At some point, you pay 2 months, and then you feel like this has to shift to some other person. And then that just 1 month space of relief, you not paying for water, not paying for electricity, there is a way you feel refreshed, and you know that, you know what, I can even work for more other 3 months. But back to the quote, what I tell you is nobody can tell you that you can't. If someone tells you that you cannot do that, ask them why or how so that, or how come that you are doing that.
Exactly.
It's simple. So why are you telling me I cannot do that and you're doing that? What do you have that I don't have? We've got the same brain. We've got the same. The only thing that differs from men and women is physical. It's physical. Maybe because I have got bigger breasts and you do not have bigger breasts, Joram.
I think it is always.
And some men have bigger breasts.
I wouldn't want to go there, but I do believe it is.
I mean, it being a Monday, we handle social factors, every concern that comes around. And another physical that I don't want to talk about. That is the only thing
but
that
I think, yes, exactly
defines.
when you mention about the physicals, by the way, it is always about the physicalities that tend to actually show the differences. And all because now, apparently, all the duties a man can do, a woman can do, and even do better.
I like that.
Though I And so sometimes women feel more vulnerable in some of these situations. Now, let's try to look at the business tips away from the court. And also the business tip is also here to make sure that we continue inspiring you and motivating you on what you need to do more so in your world of business.
And the business tip here is highlighting, that is from Motumbuka there, saying don't overvalue special relationships with powerful people. If your business is good for the country, you will succeed. Respect the law and local customs and don't get involved in family politics. It might be beneficial to build relationships with influential people, but you cannot base the success of your business on this. I feel like it's just direct. He has broken it down, you know, he got us, don't overvalue special relationships with powerful people. So it is just simple as that. Always remember who you are. Who are you even to that particular person? Is it your mother? Is it your uncle, your sister, blah, blah? And then after that, you need to give those people their space. Because when a disrespect comes along that journey of collaboration or integration with entities, that means walwali mint jobu say. That means there is something you're trying, you know, to prove at some other people, and then you try to invade their space, which is not good. At some point, you may raise your your expectations very high. That my father is going to. Okay, your father could probably do that. I think it probably get you a car.
I think it also goes back to clearly people who think, since I have a relative at the Uganda Revenue Authority, or since I have someone working in government, I'm not supposed to pay. No, you know. In most cases, when they say they overvalue their relationship, because it also highlights somewhere that make sure that you pay the customs and your duty, because if your business is good for the country, it will succeed. Some people feel like they are not entitled to paying taxes because I know maybe you are, let's say, a brother to the AG commissioner at URA, and you're like, why, how can I pay taxes when the big man is there? Then that means I'll go tax-free. At the end of the day, you will see that you're actually affecting the business community in Uganda. That means everyone who gets to know that will then try to build relations around.
But they're telling us that do business that helps a country grow.
Exactly.
Is there a business that doesn't help
a country grow?
I'm trying, you know, I was trying to think.
There's some businesses...
some business that is not helpful to some people?
Well, then I think it will just be on a smaller extent, because since even if it is legal, the mere fact that if at all there is a way someone pays taxes, it will be beneficial.
Okay, does it have to be on tax for me to help the country?
It just has to be. Or because in the long run, or either way, does it provide employment opportunities to the people of the country? Or does it change the livelihood? Because if it does change the livelihood of the people in the country, you're already impacting on the country. Then, however, the country will want to feel its impact as well by getting some income or revenue out of the cash flow of that business. So mainly, it comes in a two-way thing.
But you're definitely right. I mean, out of the estimated 44 million people, only 1 million, it's not even a quarter, neither is it half, pay tax. Joram pays tax, I pay tax. Do you pay taxes? And there are so many, yes, of course, I think some people pay taxes, indirect taxes, that maybe now there is an increased price on soap. Someone might say, yeah, sabuni. You get, some people are, you know, pinning it there, but their taxes you incur. Very well, thank you so much for doing that. But also in regards to other duties, you need to be involved.
How much is a bar of soap in your area? How much is a bar of soap in your area? I've been told people are actually getting a bar of soap at 7,000.
Yes, it is. It has gone to 8,000.
You know,
my area, a bar of soap is 8. The last price is 9,000.
You know, the late mother-in-law to my sister, used to make soap.
When
before
did she
before
pass?
she before she actually before
You
she
know the
actually,
moment you
before she
mentioned the
actually
late,
passed on,
when did
before she actually passed on around 2020 when we were heading into the election period. Now she was making soap, and surprisingly, we are still using that soap that she was making. So she used to make small portions. It is white soap, and she was actually making it for sale. But however, there reached a time, I think during COVID, and she didn't have market for it, and it was too much in stock. So for us, even if you go to my sisters, you go to some of my brothers, you go to my mother, so not yet affected with that, because we do have that soap, so it is still in supply.
So instead of carrying on to the business to make sure it generates money, you're consuming.
The market failed to take it on. So if the market failed to take it on, and we realized its importance, we decided, let's take it on.
Okay, how is it?
Because no, it is very good, by the way. It also brings in, it is very good. Just know it's very good. So,
you should be making money at this particular moment. And you go out there and sell that soap. Sell it at 4,000. I mean, there is an opportunity now. The soap is now increasing to 8,000. And you've got that one.
And the right honorable Prime Minister made a statement that made netizens very angry to use purple leaves. We have in our SMB report, because...
And when we go to reports, we're going to look at digital technological systems around there, where CSOs are calling up government and stakeholders to invest in massive sensitization. Now, the civil society organizations have called upon government and its stakeholders to further sensitize masses on digital technological systems. Now, the appeal was made by Charity Komjulizi, the Monitoring Band Evaluation Coordinator at African Freedom of Information Center in stakeholders meeting, which was meant for forge a way forward, or making a way forward for this particular digital move. Take a look at the story. We return to have more on it.
Technology in Uganda is one of those key concepts that have been embraced as a key strong pillar in business development. Africa Freedom of Information Center, with support from Omedia Network, conducted a pilot study to investigate the procurement and deployment of digital technology systems in Uganda. And this survey was done in majorly 3 countries, that is to say, Uganda, Liberia, and Nigeria.
Pilot study that we conducted in Uganda, Liberia, and Nigeria, and it was assessing government procurement and deployment of digital technology systems. And this study basically aimed to assess, look at who is buying digital technology systems. It explored to see the laws that are governing procurement of digital technology systems. It also aimed at looking at citizens' perception about procurements, specifically on digital technology systems. It also looked at broadly the level of transparency within the procurement system, procurement processes of digital technology systems. Specifically in Uganda, we find that actually ministries, departments, and authorities are procuring digital technology systems. For example, Electoral Commission, NITAU, Uganda Police Forces is procuring different departments, and they're procuring these for different reasons, such as security and security monitoring. They're procuring them for human resource. We also see that they're procuring them for information transfer, and also DNAs, and also manage and monitor elections.
The procurement indicates that there is limited knowledge about the digital technology systems by the citizens in the above countries. Charity Komjulizi, the Monitor and Evaluation Coordinator at African Freedom of Information Center, AFRIC, revealed that there is need, amongst other things, to sensitize the public.
We also found out that, yes, this is being procured, but there are delays. There is a lot of inefficiency in the process of the procurement process. This is caused by cost. It is seen through cost overruns. We see that most 53% of the contracts that are being issued had a cost overrun, meaning that the cost at the completion of the contract was revised or was higher than the initial cost, up to 53% of the contracts that were issued. It shows that it's perhaps there's poor planning. Actually, we went ahead to ask people what people think about the inefficiency. People think it's poor planning. Others also think that it's political interference. Others think that the public officials actually lack the capacity to process the procurements of these digital technology systems. So the procuring committees that we have don't have much knowledge to be able to do it fast within the required time. And there are also delays in funds release. Those are some of the feedback that we got from the citizens when we asked. We also find that citizens are not aware. They don't know about the procurement systems.
Dorothy Muka, the Executive Director of Unwanted Witness, said that there is need to embrace technology and having systems in place which will help to address many challenges, since technology in the present situation is inevitable.
We cannot run away from technology now. It's the life that we are living. But there are so many good things that come with technology. But it's also an evil, when it's badly abused. So we need systems to be clear and transparent for the user, because these systems do not operate without personal data. They all operate with personal data. So once they are not transparent to the data subjects who are the citizens of this country, a lot of abuse on people's lives is going to happen. But more so that we are using foreign companies, Foreign companies, these are private companies that come with their own financial interests. And we also know globally that data, personal data, is the most selling product. And so if we are not conscious as a country on how we deal with these external entities who are mining people's data, we may end up harming ourselves and even the country. But this is most welcome.
Furthermore, Comjulizi recommends that amongst other components, much attention should be put at the center of sensitizing people.
Brings us to our recommendations that people, first of all, need to be aware. There's need to create awareness about digital technology systems, their usage, even citizens' participation in the procurement processes. Secondly, we also recommend that government puts in place specific laws that facilitate the procurement process of digital technology systems. Also disclose information. From our discussion today, we saw that the different representatives from entities acknowledge that it is an issue, that there is less information that is being disclosed. So they acknowledge that and committed that they are going to disclose this information. Also civil society to continue advocating for these issues.
The use of technology in Uganda is one of those key components that is inevitable in the country. The task is on the shoulder of every Ugandan to see to it that the digital era achieves its best. All right. I think it's when you look at the digital technology systems
one of the
in
big
Uganda.
there that I was actually picking as the story was coming to an end. When Charity there was highlighting that, thanking stakeholders who now promise, to provide that data information in regards to digitalization. And what kicked in my mind was like, okay, so you have to first, there has to first be a drive, there has to first be, I can say, campaign, a digital campaign to make sure that pressurizes stakeholders, authorities in this regard, Minister of ICT, to come out and insert in more opportunities, insert in more conjunctions to make sure there is data provided to help people out there get included. So why is this not done from the beginning of the very first time, but rather we have to wait for, those meetings that come around and then discussions that pull pressure around there? This is not, it's not a good drive, I can say. I don't know what you think about it, Joram, but for me, it's lacking a bit. If ministry could highlight on the move especially when it comes out. I like what the Ministry of, is it ICT, UCC? The phone, the counterfeit phone. The counterfeit phone that
the counterfeit the drive campaign, that they are on. Yes, exactly.
So if something is out there, the moment something comes out and immediate reaction that comes out of it, that is always, you know, the most impactful move that anyone cannot forget. I mean, it's one thing of Joram coming out to say, okay, you know, there is going to be a free sale on suits. The suits you're putting on, you're smart, by the way. A free sale on suits coming. You're welcome. A free suit sale coming. And then, listen to those statements. There is going to be a free suit sale coming. And then you coming with the suits.
Exactly.
And you say, this is a free sale of suit coming. What do you prefer? What do you think the public prefers? Or what do you think that market prefers, Durham?
A free sale for suits. You see, free things are always good. Though they say free things are not always
where's
expensive.
your mind? Can you pay attention and listen back?
Okay.
You coming with the suits along, and you just telling me there is a free sale of suits, and you coming along with the suits, I can see them, and telling me there is a free sale of suits. Which one do you think someone would appreciate?
You coming along. You coming along with them, because I'm seeing them.
Very. And that is the most example that, you know, I wanted to bring out that could be relatable. So authorities around digitalization, because the move to digitalization does not come, you know, that very closely. It needs a lot of stakeholders to come, develop plans involving CSOs, because government is not going to do it alone. For even what I can say, government may even provide the least percentage here, but the policies it makes, it helps the private sector play effectively in this regard of trying to include people digitally.
And clearly, when you look at the fact that stakeholders are supposed to be, and only, by the way, when you talk about stakeholders, it also goes back to those that are dealing in selling of the digital devices, as well as you, the user, me, any other person. You're also a stakeholder, though you are the last. You are actually the last end stakeholder.
And they tell you
but
you're
the main
boss.
Stakeholder here, because you're the one who's receiving the product.
Do you feel you're the boss?
Because you are the consumer. In most cases, the final consumer determines whether that particular good is worth staying on the market or not.
So and that's why they call them the boss. That's why we say
the boss. The customer is always your boss. And here among the stakeholders as well, the civil society organization is actually to push and implement some of these things. It's actually to push so as the government implements. And then the stakeholders take part, let's say those who are dealing in selling and making sure that they distribute, so that you as the final boss or the final consumer also benefits greatly from this particular digital. And I also do believe they're actually saying the government should actually play a part. I've seen government is also launching various systems as well. But I will go back to my issue that the fact that we still have there's a difference, there's an age bracket difference that is creating an age difference that has actually that has actually brought in more problems for us to actually push for these digital technology systems. More so even in government offices. We're having people who are old, who are actually way above this generation. And once you have the generation that is actually used to the technology systems, it is better for them to be filling up some of these spaces. But however, surprisingly, is that people who are and at the end of the day, they have less information. I'm not saying that all of them have, but the majority have less information about what is happening from the digital world. And in most cases, when you try to bring on board your ideas of technology, you'll hear things like technology, but because they want you to understand how things work. And the technology generation that we're in needs one to be vigilant and well informed about technology systems. And regardless of whether you're 70, whether you're 50 or 60, you have to get to understand all these things.
You need to be flexible, dynamic with time. I mean, even me, even you, Joram, there is that moment that is going to come when the young people
generation is actually picking up from things you don't know.
And you don't know. And what are you going to react to them, or how are you even going to react? If you tend to always push them away and always even condemning, it's not even about them. I've seen people who are even condemning the generation saying, this generation. Like, they don't want, as if they feel.
Generation
they feel not satisfied with this generation.
There is a laugh I'm trying to adopt. No.
Don't dare go there. Don't go there. You go there after the break. Don't go there.
Okay. This is Smart Means Business. So after the break, we're having the weather updates as well as the SMB Insights. Stick around.